friends. Today I'm going to be sharing some high protein breakfast ideas that are honestly so good. I think I'm just gonna play this week on repeat because I honestly am obsessed with every single one of these meals. There's a ton of research now that is pointing towards the benefits of eating a high protein diet, especially starting your day off with a good portion of protein. So that's what I'm all about. I want to get a head start on my protein, especially when I know I have a busy day ahead and I'm not gonna have time to have a snack in the morning between my breakfast and lunch. I want to make sure that I have a good amount of protein in my system that's gonna keep me satisfied all the way until lunch. And I do find it takes the pressure off a little bit for the rest of my meals in the day. I don't have to think as hard about getting a ton of protein. If I can front load my protein, I know I have a really good starting point, and then the rest of the day is a breeze. So I hope you enjoyed today's recipes as much as I did. I will type them up and put them in the description box below, and I will also share the exact amount of protein in each meal and also the calories for you in case you're counting. And if you do enjoy today's video, make sure to hit that like and subscribe. I would love for you to join my YouTube family because I'm all about hitting those protein goals, staying fit, staying healthy, especially as a busy mom of 4. All right, let's get cooking. The first recipe I'm sharing is the most delicious high protein waffles. But before I get into this recipe, I want to start off this video just by clarifying something that I'm sure some of you might be thinking. And that is, why are you trying to hit 50 grams of protein for breakfast? That just seems absurd. I do not eat 50 grams of protein every single day for my breakfast. It is a lot of food, and it did take some extra planning on my part to make sure I was actually getting 50 grams. Because my usual breakfast is somewhere between 25 and 30 grams of protein. And then I'd like to have a mid-morning snack as well with some protein. I recently listened to an interview with Andrew Huberman interviewing Alan Aragon, and this was one of the most informative interviews that I've ever listened to. I learned so much, and if you have a moment, I definitely recommend checking it out. But one of my biggest takeaways from this was the importance of hitting your total protein at the end of the day. It's actually okay to get more protein in one meal and kind of load up on the protein there and not have it perfectly spaced out. So if you have a day where you know you're not going to be as good with hitting your protein goals with every meal, it might be a good idea to actually load up on your breakfast, or maybe it's dinner or a different meal of the day. And it's still okay. Just make sure you hit your overall protein target for the end of the day. So all of that is to say, all of these breakfasts have over 50 grams of protein or around 50 grams. And this waffle recipe I found on Pinterest, and I'm gonna share the blog in my description box below so you can see the exact recipe there. But they turned out so yummy. They're really fluffy, obviously are packed with protein. And I love that this recipe has a variety of different proteins combined. So it's not just the protein powder that's giving you protein. It also has cottage cheese, it has some eggs, and I did add protein powder as well. And this recipe makes 2 servings. So each serving is 2 pretty good sized waffles. And if you don't have someone to share them with, you could always put them in the freezer, and it's a really easy, quick, high protein breakfast that you can just pop in the toaster for your next breakfast. And instead of adding whipped cream, which I do love, but if you're trying to be more health conscious and get even more protein, you can top it with some plain Greek yogurt. And I also made a really simple blueberry compote by just warming up some frozen blueberries with a little bit of lemon juice. Keeper?
Keeper. I like you.
We have a keeper. This next recipe is a Western style omelet. It's going to include some of those classic Western omelet ingredients such as onions and peppers and chopped deli ham. Now, I really noticed the importance of accurately tracking your food because when I was first inputting this into my FitnessPal, which is what I use for tracking my macros, I was just putting in 1 slice of ham, and then I'd add a couple of eggs and just see where I was at with my protein. And I very quickly realized, wow, I'm gonna need so much more protein. How am I gonna get more protein. So I had to up the ham to 3 slices, and then I always like to add 1 whole egg. I'm not a huge fan of egg whites on their own, so I had 1 whole egg, and then I substituted the rest of the eggs for just egg whites. And then I also have been hearing a lot about adding cottage cheese in with your omelets, and I've never tried it, so this was my first time. So I just put it all in the blender together, and it's actually so yummy. If you haven't tried it before, I definitely recommend it. It makes your omelet super light and fluffy. This is a meal that is going to keep you really full and really satisfied all the way until lunch. Just for accurate tracking on occasion, I will weigh out certain ingredients, such as my homemade sourdough bread. This is one of those things where you're not really sure what the calories are in your own slice of bread. It's not like I have something to look at on the back of my bread, so I have to weigh it, and then I can find like a homemade sourdough on my MyFitnessPal, and that's how I like to track it. But you can always substitute sourdough for a really healthy store-bought bread, such as the Ezekiel brand bread. Okay.
Yeah, it's really good.
Really fluffy. Truth be told, I am not actually the biggest oatmeal fan. If I could choose between having oatmeal or eggs, eggs will win every single time. But there are some occasions when I am craving a nice warm bowl of oatmeal, and oatmeal on its own is obviously very low in protein. It's mostly just carbs. So I like to add a few different ingredients to help give it a little bit more protein and make it more substantial and more filling, because if I just have oatmeal on its own, I'm definitely gonna be hungry like an hour after eating it. So one of the ways that I'm upping my protein, not just with my oatmeal, but even with my coffee, I am trying Fairlife milk. So basically Fairlife is a higher protein milk. And just for reference, 1 cup of Fairlife milk, the 2% kind, is going to give you 13 grams of protein. Compared to just a regular cup of 2% milk, that will only give you 8 grams of protein. So it's a really great way to get extra protein in your diet. It's simple, and I know it's really popular for a lot of health and fitness people online. I've been seeing it for a long time, but I haven't jumped on the bandwagon yet. So this was my first time trying Fairlife milk, and it's great. I'm really excited about it. So back to the oats, all I did was I cooked half a cup of oats with water, and I substituted some of the water for that Fairlife milk. And then I added in a scoop of chocolate flavored whey isolate powder. And then I also added in some powdered peanut butter to give it that peanut butter flavor without all of the extra fat and calories. And then I added some hemp hearts. They're packed with omegas. They have some extra protein. They have some healthy fats. It's just overall a really good, balanced, filling, and delicious. It kind of tastes like a dessert type of breakfast. I have never really thought about cooking up ground turkey for breakfast, but it is just a great way to get a ton of extra protein. It doesn't take much time at all, but if you are worried about the extra time that it takes to cook some ground meat in the morning, you can always cook it the night before or have it for dinner and then just set some aside for the morning. So all I did was I cooked my ground turkey with a little bit of garlic powder, smoked paprika, salt and pepper. And I wouldn't just eat turkey on its own unless it was like a turkey breakfast sausage or like turkey bacon for breakfast. But I do find that combining the ground turkey with an egg, adding a little bit of cheese and salsa, throwing it all in a wrap, it definitely felt really breakfasty. Is that even a word? I don't know, but it felt right. It didn't feel weird at all. And I am doubling my portion size here because I was making some for my husband. Yes, I was being a very good wife this morning. I do like to make breakfast for my husband, and I'm so thankful he enjoys eating the same way that I do. But if you want the exact amount of ingredients for one single serving, Just make sure to look at the description because I have it all there for you. So these high protein wraps, I find at Costco, they have 11 grams of protein in one wrap. So that is a really simple way to get extra protein for any meal really, is by using a higher protein wrap or higher protein bread. And you can find high protein wraps in any grocery store really. You just have to look. Often they will be labeled that they are a higher protein wrap right on the package. This is the hard part. I don't know how I'm gonna eat this.
Not for me.
Don't fall apart.
Oh, it's like a beautiful thing.
Oh my gosh, I honestly don't know how I'm gonna do this. I think I'm gonna eat with some of the fork. I just have to lighten the load.
It might be full.
There we go.
Where are you, Mom?
You might start to notice a trend with all of these recipes. I do use a lot of the same ingredients over and over again, and that is intentional because these are the foods that give you the biggest bang for your buck when it comes to protein per serving. Things like cottage cheese and eggs, these are staples for me, and they're really easy to shop for. You can just buy them all in bulk. I often will buy a bunch of egg whites and my cottage cheese at Costco so I can get a bunch of them at one time. And the best part about this is that you can use these ingredients in so many different ways. As you've already seen, I made waffles, I made Mexican style breakfast wraps, I made an omelet. You know, eating this way, hitting your protein without going crazy overboard on the calories, and just being intentional with your macros and your food choices. It doesn't have to be boring, and I hope that's one of the takeaways that you get from today's video. But you know what? If boring works for you, if you find keeping things simple is the easiest way to stay on track, then that's amazing. Keep going that way. But I just love food so much, and I do find I need variety every once in a while just to keep things interesting. That's why I love this plate so much. It's one of my favorites because you get a little taste of everything. It's really simple to put together, but it feels really fancy and special, and it really hits the spot. I love that I have a good variety on my plate. I have eggs, I have avocados, I have sourdough, cottage cheese with fresh peaches. For somebody who cannot decide on what they want to eat in the morning because everything just looks so good, this is the perfect breakfast because you get a little taste of everything and it's just gonna be so satisfying. It genuinely makes my day when you guys leave me a comment, so make sure to let me know what recipe you're looking forward to making. If you are new here, also join my YouTube family, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you all very soon.